Hello, this is DarkFox127 and welcome back to my line of tutorials which are going to be covering a number of things as noted in the description. I ended the last video saying that I was going to have to do a bit of nav meshing, so I might as well show you how to do it. This is boring, you're going to hate it, you might enjoy it somehow. Comment if you do, because you're very strange. We'll get started. Without Navmesh, our NPCs are either going to, one, not appear in the room at all, and you're going to wonder where the hell they are, or two, they're going to end up just finding the closest bench to sit on, and due to there being no Navmesh, they're not going to move from the bench, and they're probably going to sit there eating bread all day. So, there's also one thing I'll mention before I do Navmesh. People that tend to build ridiculous sized places, like myself, and then have to navmesh the entire thing, and it has multiple load doors, big place. You navmesh it, and due to a navmesh bug, some may have heard of this, it's very irritating. Sometimes if you reload a cell that you'd loaded in your current session on Skyrim, the navmesh in your entire place disappears, meaning there's no NPCs, or they're all scrunched up on a table somewhere. So unfortunately there is a long-winded fix towards that, but I don't know what it is, and quite frankly I don't care, because it's not too much of a biggie anyway, and it's happening rarer now because the patch has helped it. So I'm babbling on, so we will get to Navmesh. Anything to avoid doing it. Hold on, first thing we want to do, we want to press this button here, all these squiggly little red lines. Press that, that's it. You get a Navmesh bar. When you want to click the lovely Navmesh button. Now you can auto generate it, so you can go generate recast based Navmesh, click that, and I think this one here, this needs to be about 8,000, or 8 with a ton of zeros on the end, basically, whichever it is. I think so. It's the same as that one, so let's just change that. I haven't done this in a while, because usually once you've sorted this, it doesn't need doing again, so cross our fingers. Oh, that went well. Oh, that went absolutely wonderfully well. I think that's because I had something highlighted. Recast. Okay, that's it. And then it will roughly navmesh the place. As you can see, it's a frickin' mess. So, it's not really very good. Most of the time, I usually just start from scratch, and that's going to be the easiest way to show you. So if we just highlight all that crap and get rid of it, there we go. Right, Navmesh is a pig. Now the first thing you want is just untick all these three boxes here. Basically the first one selects the whole triangle, which will make more sense in a minute, to move about, or to delete, or edit. Select verticals, the middle one selects the singular points, so the corner points of the Navmesh, and select edges, as you might have guessed, selects the actual edges, so the lines that make up the triangles, and that comes very, very useful. But the one that you want to do if you're starting from scratch, select the middle one there, and you want to zoom in a bit. And the way this works is you create triangles, join them all together, so your Navmesh is all made of triangles, and you navigate it around certain items. Anything static that doesn't move, that can't be moved, you tend to put the Navmesh around, and then anything that can be moved, you tend to just put it underneath, so if the item moves, they can still walk to that location, or they can go up to it and pick it up. You need to make sure your Navmesh is surrounding something like a bench, but not under it, otherwise they stand on the bench and stuff. So surrounding it, but close enough so that they can activate and get on the bench. So we'll get started. So if you were to click the right mouse button there, you'll see that you get one dot, you get another dot there, but they aren't linking together. So what you'd do, you'd hold down your left click, drag across, highlight, and they're all green. So when they're highlighted, they are green. And if you were to tap A, they link together like that. And I'll just show you the selecting a triangle. If you click the first one there, as you can see, you can select a triangle, you can move it about, you can delete it. One thing you'll notice here is it's sticking to grid, so something I forgot, we want to just get grids turned off, because that's a pig. So we'll stick with that. Now what we want to do is, usually when you create it, the one button you'll be using the most is holding down your left control button. So you hold that down, you click right, and you want to start from the door, so you want it close to the door. Click right again, and then if you were to do your third piece, that'll actually now create a triangle because you had control held down. So as you can see, we've got our first triangle. Now something I'm going to note, a lot of people say, I've Navmeshed the house, it's lovely, it looks great, but my follower is not following me in. So I'm just going to do this first. Basically, you need to tell your NPC or whoever's following you what triangle to appear in, basically, on the Navmesh. And the way you do that is you make sure you can select the whole triangle. And you have to click on the triangle that your marker here, your yellow marker for the door, is sat on. And you click that, and you basically click this tick here. And what happens is it will turn green. And I'm in green right now, but when you click off, it will remain green to say this is a main door marker, this is where they'll appear when they come through, so they'll be able to follow you. Now before that'll work, you need Navmesh on the other side, so I'll do that a bit later on, but that's basically how you make sure your followers can follow you. Now what you want to do, you want to be selecting, if we're going to continue over toward the stairs here, you want to keep holding down control so that you can keep selecting multiple points, and always holding down control, right click, and as you can see we've now got these 2 points selected here. So you keep going, but if at any point you've got the 2 wrong points selected, so if you've got them points and you want to drag over here, it'll cross over like that, and that's not good. So you need the correct 2 points, which would now be that point and that point there, and you'd want to do that. And you can select the edges and you can move it about and tighten it up, clear it up, make it cleaner. I find it's actually a lot easier to do it from scratch. You can get this to, as I showed you, generate one, and then just you can clean it up, but that takes a lot longer in my opinion. Now after you've made a triangle like this, you can quickly go through and select different points rather than having to keep dragging over, holding down control. If you just tap tab, it changes what points it's selecting. So you'd want these 2 points here, and we want to start Navmeshing across the fireplace. So see if I can be quick at this. You get much quicker at it. Take your time to begin with, don't get rushing it, and you will get quicker at doing Navmesh. So as I show here, you put this right up to this bench, and you Navmesh it just round, nice and close, so that the NPC can get to it. Now these 2 pots here, they aren't actually static, they can be moved, so we're going to want to go right up to the edge there. You've got to be careful where you click, because it can end up going off the floor and be Navmeshing up toward the ceiling, and that isn't a good thing. Now something else I'm going to show you, as you can see, if we selected these 2 points here and then went to there, it's partially going through the fireplace. So Control and Z will undo that. Let's just delete that point. What we want to do, we want another break point here. So this is where selecting the edges comes into play. And if you highlight it so it goes red and right click, you'll actually putting another point there. Let's get rid of the edges so that we're not selecting the edge. And then you can select the 2 points and then go into the corner, and as you can see, much cleaner, goes around the fireplace. So let's just see if I can zoom out, make this, do this a little quicker. So actually you can skip ahead, or you can carry on watching, so just keep skipping ahead until I get to a more important bit. But things are going to crop up here like this. So the stairs, you usually want 2 points at each side of the stairs, and stairs are rather fun. So you want to select these 2 points, and then you want to select right at the bottom of the stairs so it Navmeshes straight down across the stairs. And here you want to make sure that it hasn't done what it's done here and got this point and that point selected, because then it's going to go really mashed. You want the point on the left selected. There we go, so press tab for that. Then you want it to zoom straight down there, and your stairs should now actually be okay. And then you just want to Navmesh the rest up. Now here we go, here's a fine example. we've basically got a dresser here, which is a static item, so it doesn't move. So you want to actually Navmesh around that, or they'll be trying to hump it, and we don't really want our NPCs doing stuff like that with our dresser drawers, do we? So, like I said, the bed, you're going to want to get that pretty tied up to the bed, otherwise they're going to stand there and they're not going to know how to get in it. You want to just do the other side. You can pick beds which only allow them getting one side, so they're not trying to use a side that you have decided not to Navmesh. But just to be safe, because I've used this sort of bed, I'm going to just Navmesh there. And as you can see, I've quickly done some Navmesh. I could do the rest. If I had other items, I'd have to Navmesh around, so it'd get a little more awkward. But NPC should now be able to Navmesh, navigate around all of that. So if we just save, what we next want to do, I'm going to just close that, and it's just as important to Navmesh just outside of your house. Otherwise the bit that allows your NPCs to get in won't work. So if we just zoom outside. Now, you might get a bit of lag trying to Navmesh the outside because it's loading an awful lot. But this is going to be awkward. You can get different views on your Navmesh, so if it's buried within the ground and you want to be able to see it, click that view there and you'll be able to see through all the Navmesh. Because of where I've put the house, this might be a little awkward. I'm just going to, you're going to have to make sure you got a fairly large triangle for your actual exit to sit on there. Should now allow the NPC to quite easily onto Navmesh there. And you just want to check now that we haven't got any Navmesh where the house is sat. So any Navmesh there needs deleting. And whenever you've put your house somewhere, you just want to really make sure that you aren't deleting Navmesh that an NPC for a mission is going to really need for something. Otherwise you could screw apart the game up. So it's usually good to put places nice and isolated out the way in parts of the map that really aren't all that important. See if I can clear this a little bit up here. We should be good to go near enough. So here's what I'm going to do now. We are going to select that triangle that our marker should near enough be sitting on. Click the tick. Might take a couple of seconds. And as you can see, it's lit up a very bright green. Now you want to click off your Navmesh, go back in, and you need to do this for both sides. And you have to have Navmesh ready for it on both sides or it won't work. So let's just click our Navmesh back on, click in that triangle there, click the tick, we should be able to take our NPC inside and outside. Let's just check on my time. Yep, this is definitely running to another video. Yeah, so hopefully I can just shorten this video, so the bit I'm about to say will be this one video. So I'll see you in the next video and I'll go through packages, making an NPC. The Navmesh is over. Yes. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Please leave comments. Visit my website. Yada yada yada. Done. Read the description.